The latest candidate to jump into the race is former state senator Dr. Richard Pan, who's joining us now live in studio. Dr. Pan, we appreciate you coming in studio. We've spoken to all the candidates, so you were the latest to announce. We're glad to have you in studio and have you make some time for us. You are obviously not new to serving in public office, but just like I asked all the candidates, why do you want to be mayor of Sacramento?
I want to be mayor of Sacramento because I love this city. And I want to see that we have a safe and healthy Sacramento. At the same time, I go about the city like many of you, and we see that the city is not doing well, right? People have lost confidence. We need to have courageous leadership in this city to be sure that we are building the kind of city that we want, a city that people can be proud of, that people feel like that they are safe in the city. So my priorities are public safety. We need to be sure people feel safe in the city. Homelessness, and of course, economic development.
I mean, these are all issues that you tackled when you were in the legislature.
These are issues I addressed in the legislature, but now we need the city to be able to actually follow through on delivering on the things that we got money for in the legislature and other places, and being sure that we actually solve the problems, because people are not seeing a difference on the streets in their neighborhoods. And so that's what I'm going to do as mayor. We're going to be focused on being sure we address those issues that people care about, which is their safety, that we take care of our unhoused, and also that we restore order to public spaces, that public spaces are available to everyone in the city of Sacramento.
I want to ask you that because you just outlined your pillars that are on your campaign website, issues that are important to you. And homelessness is top of mind in every single city, large and small, around the state of California right now. You know that. Right now, there is a public feud playing out between the mayor of Sacramento and the district attorney. I know you know DA Ted Ho very well. He endorsed you. You endorsed him. I don't want to get in the weeds of what's going on between them. But in terms of the frustration that you're sort of seeing playing out on both sides, what do you think of the approach from Mayor Steinberg right now and from DA Ted Ho? Because, as you said, people are frustrated and they want to see action.
Exactly. People want to see action. They want to see things getting better when they walk the streets of Sacramento, right? They want to be, when they go downtown to a Kings game, or they're going to walk their children to school or to a park or to go visit a restaurant or anything else, they're going to work, they want to feel safe. They also want to know that their fellow Sacramentans, who unfortunately are out on the streets, are taken care of, that we get housing for them, and that's what they want the city government to do. They want the city government to be focused on solving these problems and not potentially distracted by other things. And also, we've heard lots of announcements. I mean, homelessness is not new, right? It's not something that just popped up recently.
Right.
We've been talking about it for years. And we hear announcements of, we're going to do this, we're going to have tiny homes, we're going to do that, et cetera. And yet, things don't seem to be happening.
So how do you fix that? Because we know Sacramento doesn't have a strong mayor. So how do you, as mayor of Sacramento, fix that?
By being focused on the city of Sacramento and being sure the city does its job, right? We need the city to focus on what the city is authorized to do and do best, right? And so that includes, law enforcement, right? Maintaining order, keeping our streets clean and orderly, finding locations for housing, right? At the same time, we need to partner and work with others. So I was in the legislature. I know that mental health money goes to the county. And actually, so we need to have the county work with the city to be sure mental health services are delivered, because they're the ones who get the money for it.
So right now, are you seeing city and county not working together?
Well, we've seen city and county feuding with each other. Now, I do want to recognize that they have finally started to come together, and there's an agreement, so there is some progress there. But I want to see that progress continue and move more quickly. At the same time, the city has to do its job. So, the city council recently just asked the city manager to finally find safe ground spaces. Part of the reason for that is because for years, we've been talking about it, but
all
not
talk,
much
no
has
action.
happened. No, exactly. That's what people are tired of.
So who's to blame for that then, in your opinion? Because in order to fix a problem, you got to diagnose it, and and you know that as a doctor.
Right.
So how did things fall through the cracks here? Is this lie with Mayor Steinberg? Did he fail to put plans in place? I mean, coming in, you're going to have to say, look, this is where the problem lies, and this is how I'm going to fix it as mayor.
Well, first of all, as you mentioned, we don't have a strong mayor, so I'm going to be working with the city council, right?
So
because we got
do you
one
want a
vote.
strong mayor? Are you in favor of something like that?
Let's put it this way. I have supported the past strong mayor, but the voters have spoken.
Okay.
Right? I'm running for the mayor as it is now.
Okay.
Right? I am not looking to push strong mayor. I am looking to be the mayor of Sacramento as it is now, to wield the authority of the mayor as the chair of the city council, to work with the city council because I'm one vote out of the group, right? We got to build the coalitions, but we got to get more focused and be sure that as a body, we're working with our city staff, we're working with our city police and fire and the other staff, and holding them accountable, and at the same time, having their back when they do the things we ask them to do. We're going to ask our city team to do difficult things in order to solve this problem. We are going to have difficult conversations to solve this problem, but we need to be sure that we focus, right? Don't get distracted by lots of other issues. Stay focused on addressing public safety and homelessness, right? And then we will build the confidence for people to come and bring their businesses here to Sacramento so we can get more good jobs and again, have people feel comfortable coming to our city and living in our city. That's what we need to do, and that's what I will do as mayor.
Okay, so you talked about building coalitions, and you know this from working in the legislature too, because as you were leaving, we were seeing sort of the effects of term limits and new members coming in.
Right.
This is the city council is pretty new, and so you would be working with a lot of council members. You mentioned that you were one vote, and there was a press conference held earlier this week where council members were proposing possibly a ballot initiative. There wasn't a lot of details in terms of what this was going to look like, but going to the voters to possibly ask for some sort of funding to fund housing and higher wages and keeping people in their homes. So we don't have a lot of meat of this, but do you think that is a possible solution? Because voters right now might not be inclined to throw more money at the problem, because even the state government has been accused of doing that.
Right. Well, we can't just throw more money at the problem, right? And in fact, when I was in the state legislature, I voted for more money for things, but we need to have local government implement, right? And that's one thing I learned when I was in state legislatures. I could put things in budgets, but local government doesn't follow through and implement. At the same time, I would say is that we have opportunities that I'm aware of because I was in state government at the time that we can leverage to get more resources. Whether it's mental health, it's helping get people have housing. We through our Medi-Cal program, we create opportunities to get people additional services aside from just direct medical care, right? So we need to leverage those first. Okay, I'm not interested in raising taxes or doing other things until we identify what the need is and be sure that we don't have opportunities to draw down state and federal monies. So for example, when Sacramento, during the Great Recession, when I was first elected to the legislature, had to start closing down fire departments, I got federal matching money to help keep those fire departments open, right? So there are opportunities, and I know they're out there because I helped work on them, and we need to be sure that the city of Sacramento and the county of Sacramento and others are leveraging those. That's one of the things I'm going to do. And as well as, we need also, again, back to the city of Sacramento and the city council, we need to stay really focused on the top priorities, which is, again, restoring public safety, being sure that we are taking care of our homeless, and also maintaining order in our public spaces. If people don't feel safe in the community, they lose confidence in the city government. And then it's whether we want to talk about initiatives or anything else, we're not going to get them because people don't have confidence. So we have to demonstrate as a city that we are serious about these problems, that we're going to act, and that people can see a difference in their own communities.
You're very passionate, and you brought those points up several times during our conversation. Was there sort of a breaking point where were you walking around Sacramento? Were you at the Capitol and you're like, you know what, I got to run for mayor? Was there a specific moment where you said, I got to do this?
Yes. So after leaving the legislature as a doctor, I had plenty of things to do. I'm still seeing patients over, at the county clinic and doing some other things. And some people talk to me about, hey, you should think about running for mayor. I'm like, well, and then I came downtown and actually was meeting with a bunch of pediatricians who were there for lobby day down at the Library Galleria. And after parking my car on the street and dodging around, and I said, this is not the kind of welcome we want to give people to the city. And all these people who are on the street, they need help. Like, why? And we've been talking about this. I mean, we were talking about when I was in the legislature. We've been talking about this for so long. What happened to all those grand announcements and things that we were going to do? And I said, okay, I need to step up and say, I want to help be part of the solution. And so it's not, by the way, it's not only about holding office, but it's also, it really is about, we need to work together. We need leadership. And we need courage to be able to tackle these problems and actually make decisions and follow through with them. And that's what seems to not be happening.
Okay, so we're almost out of time, but I've asked every single candidate this, so I want to give you the opportunity to answer it too. And we'll have to come back because you would also make history if you became mayor as well. But a commitment you can make to voters if you were mayor, what is a specific commitment you would make to them? My commitment is I will work hard, I will be focused, I will be relentless. I will be relentless in addressing the issues of public safety, addressing homelessness, and I will also be the biggest cheerleader for the city of Sacramento in terms of bringing new business, bringing new jobs, and being sure that our city is a safe and healthy place to be. And you would be the first Asian American mayor to serve. I would be the first Asian American mayor directly elected by the city. Right. I want to give respect to Jimmy Yee, who was the first Asian American mayor. But most importantly, I'm going to bring focus and courage to the city council. I will be relentlessly focused on the safety and the health of the people of Sacramento. That's what I will be focused on as mayor. All right, former state senator Dr. Richard Pan, we appreciate you joining us here in studio. Good luck on the campaign trail, and I look forward to future conversations. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nikki.
Eric, over to you.